It asks us to simplify. Notice it didn't say solve. Why didn't it say solve? Well, and it's not an equation either, is it? In order to solve something, you have to have an equal sign in it. So if they just have this, A is x squared y squared times 3x. There's no equal sign. That's not an equation. This is just an expression. So we're going to simplify this expression. So we're going to remember from elementary algebra, when you have brackets like this, you multiply everything in this bracket times everything in that bracket. So this is going to equal 3x times x squared times y squared. I'm going to write this as 3 times x squared times y squared. Now notice that we have the same base here and we're multiplying. The exponent of just a plain x is just a 1. That's something you'll have to remember. If you have just a plain x, it automatically has an exponent of 1. So we're multiplying x times x to the 1 power times x squared. What are we going to do with those exponents? We're going to add them. This equals x to the 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this expression now is 3 times x cubed, because we multiplied these together, times y squared. All right? That isn't A though, is it? A had x to the y to the 4th, but that's all right. Let's look at B. We have a minus 2 times y squared cubed. Now when we have this parentheses around this y term, it means we're going to cube what's in the parentheses. We're going to take it to the 3rd power. We're not going to take this 2 to the 3rd power. We're just taking the y squared to the 3rd power. All right, so that's going to be a minus 2 times y to the 2 times 3, which is a minus 2 y to the 6th. Everybody see that? Let me show you that. This is a minus 2 times y squared is y times y. That's y squared. This is y squared, y times y. This says we're going to multiply this y times itself 3 times. So this would be y times y, that's 1 time, and y times y, that's the 3rd time. We're taking this square, multiplying by itself 3 times, that's y to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. All right? What would have happened in this example? What would have happened in this example if we'd have had, if it had looked like this? Well, it doesn't. Let's look at C. A minus 2y squared to the 3rd power. I'm going to show you the rule and then I'm going to do it long-handed so you can see that what we're doing. So we're going to raise everything in here to the 3rd power, everything in the parentheses. So we're going to multiply 2. This is going to equal a minus 2 to the 3rd power times y squared to the 3rd power And that's going to equal a minus 2 cubed times y to the 2 times 3, because we're raising a power to a power. That's a minus 2 cubed times y to the 2 times 3 is 6. And let's look at what minus 2 cubed is. That'd be minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. The exponent just says we're going to multiply the minus 2 by itself 3 times. That's what this says. And this is 6 times itself, 6 times. So we'll have a y times y times y times y times y times y. That's what this equals. So it's a lot easier to write it in exponent form. What is a minus 2 times a minus 2? What is a minus 2 times a minus 2? This is a positive 4. Minus times a minus is a positive. So what's a plus 4 times a minus 2? That's a minus 8. 4 times a minus 2 is a minus 8. So minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 equals a minus 8. Does everybody see that? So minus 2 cubed equals a minus 8. And y cubed, or y times y times y times y times y times y, is y to the 6th. So that's what that equaled. Do you follow that? Okay. Let's look at D. We have 3x squared times a minus 5x cubed. The whole quantity here is cubed. Here, the square is inside the parentheses, so the only thing we're squaring is the x. So I'll write this out for you so you see it. This is 3 times x times x. That's this first term. Now the second term is a minus 5x times a minus 5x. I'm going to write my x's like this. Times a minus 3. Okay. So a minus 3 times 125 would be a minus 375. And this is x times x times x times x times x. That's x to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we do it the long way, this is what we get. Now we'll do it with the rules. This is 3x squared times a minus 5x to the third. Work on this one first. Just leave this one. We're going to raise everything in this parentheses to the third power. So this is going to be a minus 5 times a minus 5. You can do this on your calculator. is 25 times the minus 5 is minus 125. So that's 3x times minus 125. And now we're going to raise the x to the third power. We do it that way. Now notice the exponent is no longer outside the parentheses because we've taken everything inside the parentheses to the third power. This is a 2 here. Now we can use the rule of exponents. First of all, we'll multiply this 3 times a minus 125. You can do that on your calculator. That equals a minus 375. And then we have the x to the 2 plus 3 equals a minus 375 x to the 5th power. So this answer is the same as that answer, and this is a lot easier way to do it by using our rules instead of multiplying them all out. End of example 1.